Welcome to Disneyland Paris in Depth, the Disneyland Paris history series where we explore the stories and the secrets behind some of the resort's most beloved attractions. In today's episode, we are taking a look at an underrated highlight of all my trips to Disneyland, the Thunder Mesa Riverboat landing. Riverboats have been a core part of the Disney Parks experience since Disneyland opened in 1955. A Mississippi steamboat was one of the first attractions Walt added to plans for the park before the concept even became Disneyland. The boat eventually built was named the Mark Twain and was the first functioning paddle steamer to be built in the US in 50 years. The Mark Twain was built to a 5/8 scale, and Imagineers did extensive research to ensure that it was built exactly as it would have been in the heyday of steamships. All of this work meant that the funds for the ship were soon running dry, but Walt believed in the attraction so much that he funded the rest of the ship's construction using his personal savings. The Mark Twain has been sailing the rivers of America at Disneyland Park since opening day in 1955, and as more Disney parks opened across the world, more riverboats were built. The Liberty Bell was an opening day attraction at the Magic Kingdom's Liberty Square at Walt Disney World in 1971, and the Mark Twain Riverboat was an opening day attraction in Tokyo Disneyland's Western Land in 1983. Given the history of riverboats at Disney parks, it's no surprise that the Mark Twain would also be built at Disneyland Paris. There was just one problem. In California, Florida and Tokyo, the riverboats sailed around Tom Sawyer Island, which wouldn't be built in Paris. In Disneyland Paris' Frontierland, Big Thunder Mountain would be the centrepiece instead. So the riverboat at Disneyland Paris sails around Big Thunder Mountain in Frontierland, offering beautiful views of the mountain from all angles. The waterway around the mountain was also renamed the Rivers of the Far West, linking it more closely to the land's backstory as the gold rush town of Thunder Mesa. The Rivers of the Far West would be a busy waterway on opening day. Alongside the riverboat, canoes and keelboats would also be sailing on the river. Imagineers also wanted to increase the capacity of the riverboat attraction, so as well as building a replica of Disneyland's Mark Twain, they built a second riverboat, the Molly Brown. The Molly Brown was named after American socialite and Titanic survivor Molly Brown, who supposedly met Mark Twain in her childhood. The boat is a sidewheeler, the only sidewheeler in the fleet of Disney riverboats across the world. While the Mark Twain was a Mississippi-style riverboat, the Molly Brown was designed to look like the steamships that navigated the Sacramento River during the Gold Rush. Imagineers took particular inspiration from the Delta Queen, which is why the ship was originally painted with turquoise, orange and gold details, and why its wheels originally read Queen of the River. The Molly Brown was designed by Imagineers with the help of nautical engineer Ray Wallace, who had previously worked with Disney in the 50s to create the sailing ship Columbia at Disneyland. And the design wasn't the only difference between the Mark Twain and the Molly Brown. Whilst the Mark Twain ran on steam, the Molly Brown runs on a diesel-powered electric engine. Both boats took their inaugural voyages on Disneyland Paris' opening day on the 12th of April 1992. The two boats took the same route around the river, with the journey lasting around 15 minutes and taking guests past the town of Thunder Mesa, Smuggler's Cove, a known pirate hangout, a riverside shack where a man can be seen fishing with his dog, the Disneyland Railroad, a geyser with dinosaur fossils, and finally the Phantom Manor. Depending on which boat you are riding, you would hear a conversation on board between the captain and either Mark Twain or Molly Brown. If you've been to Disneyland Paris recently, you might be confused by me mentioning that there are two riverboats on opening day. That's because in 2011, the Mark Twain went into dry dock for refurbishment and has not come out since. No one knows why this is or if the boat will ever return to service, but for the time being, guests can only ride on the Molly Brown around the rivers of the Far West. Talking of the Molly Brown, the ship suffered a fire damage due to its engine overheating in 2005, forcing it into a 2-year refurbishment. In 2010, the Molly Brown underwent another significant refurbishment, which saw its design changed to feature a red and yellow details. The design on the wheel was also changed, and it now reads Western River Line, which is perhaps a nod to the never-built Western River Expedition, an attraction designed for Frontierland in Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World. The captain was also removed from the onboard commentary, leaving just Molly Brown to narrate your journey through the Far West. So now that we've shared the interesting history of the Thunder Mesa Riverboat landing and the Molly Brown Riverboat, let's end the video with a few hidden details to look out for whilst you're on the ride. Starting with the boat itself, you'll notice several flags on the top deck. One is the flag of California and the other is the flag of the United States. However, this flag only has 48 stars, accurately reflecting the number of states in the Union in the 1880s, which is the time period where Thunder Mesa is set. As you pass by Smuggler's Cove, you'll see a keelboat. This is one of the keelboats that used to run on the river and is inspired by the 1955 film Davy Crockett and the River Pirates. The keelboat attraction has not operated since 2010. Further around the river, you'll see a man fishing with his dog. This man is known as Old Joe, and he and his canine friend might look a little familiar. That's because the moulds used to create them were also used to create one of the pirates and the dog in the jail scene over at Pirates of the Caribbean. That's it for today's video. We hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into the history of the Molly Brown Riverboat. If you did, hit the like button and subscribe and hit the bell icon for more Disneyland Paris tips and tricks. If you're interested in more Disneyland Paris history, check out the playlist linked in the description. Thanks for watching and we'll see you next time.